Good afternoon. Thank you for joining me today. This is Matthew Lindsay with Precision Home Group here in Anchorage. Coming to you today to talk to you about real estate, talking to you about real estate investing basics. It's Thursdays. Thursdays we talk about real estate investing. Today we are talking about small deals. More specifically, we're talking about multifamily investing between 1 to 4 units. That's going to be your single family home or condo townhome to your duplex, triplex, and fourplex. Now this is where many people start their real estate investing. Not everyone. Some people jump up to play the big game. Some people start in other realms, maybe flipping, wholesaling, just stick to REITs. But this right here in 1 to 4 units is where most people start. And this is where most people do a lot of their investing. So excited to talk to you about it today. Before we get going, a couple different things. First, at the end of today, we are going to be giving away several books. We have Pain or Profit. Really excited about this book. It's written by Cassandra Taggart at Real Property Management here in Anchorage. She herself is a real estate investor. She also owns and operates the best real estate property management company here in Anchorage. So she comes from experience. She loves sharing her knowledge. They actually have an organization called the Landlord's Almanac. You can see it on my personal page where they give out training to landlords for free. It's an amazing opportunity to network with like-minded people, get to know her and her husband Eric, and get to know what it's like to invest in real estate and some of the struggles that people have and learn from experiences of others. Great content, great information. Go check them out. I highly recommend them. Second thing I wanted to cover before we jump in is, I just wanted to go over our overview. So we're about 4 weeks in on this 6-part series. We've talked about the overview, about the 5 different types of basic real estate investing. And those are, first, we talked about wholesaling and flipping. Second was we talked about REITs, the real estate investment trusts. It's kind of like real estate stock, like the stock market for real estate, if you will, where it's more traded and sold like a mutual fund. And we went into that last week. Today we are talking about 1 to 4 units. Great topic, ready to jump in, so let's get into it. So, multifamily, small deals, 1 to 4 units. The biggest benefit of this is that you can use most of the same loans that you would qualify for a single family home. You would use that to qualify for 1 to 4 units. So if you qualify for a home and you're living in a home, you could have used that same loan to actually buy a fourplex, is what we're saying. A duplex, triplex, or fourplex. Also, when you go after these multifamily units, you can actually qualify for more money than you would if you were going after a single family home. Why is that? That is because with these different units that you now have, people are paying rental income. So you can use this additional income to actually qualify for more money. So that you can qualify to buy more real estate. The other benefit of this is that those loans, the loans that we're talking about, would be the VA loan, the FHA loan, and there's a couple others. And those loans have a low down payment. So there's a low barrier of entry for the everyday person to get into their first real estate investment and get started. It's an ability to actually take advantage, not take advantage, it is. Take advantage of the loans that are available to you, leverage other people's money that come in through rental income to be able to start building your equity in that building, and then later on building equity in that building and others as you branch out and start building out your portfolio of multifamily investments. So that's kind of the FHA and the VA. Benefits of those is that you got the low down. It's either going to be 0, maybe 3.5% down. So lower barrier to entry, and you can qualify for more money. So great options, right? So when we go into there, let's talk about the benefits, the pros, the cons of the fourplex, the duplex, or the triplex itself, right? So getting into your first real estate investments, you got to know some things. You got to look into it for some information. So some of the benefits are, we're going to talk about the first one, which is going to be tax write-offs. You're going to have a lot more tax write-offs that you're going to be able to utilize as a owner of a rental property. We have depreciation. We have other things that we can write off because now we can expense things out to the property itself. So you'll get a lot more tax write-offs, which is great for you at the end of the year. The other thing is, if it's your first property, one thing we failed to mention with the loan types is that actually with a lot of those, you're required to do owner-occupy for the first year. But that could be a benefit. If you're going to self-manage, you're on site, you're living there, so you're there immediately if there's any issues with any tenants, maybe there's, forbid that there's a flood, maybe that, there's some plumbing issues, anything that happens, you are right there, you're living right there, you can self-manage. You can shovel your own snow, you could plow your own driveway. If you're here in Alaska, you can take care of all that kind of stuff, and you're right there. You don't have any extra lead time. You're not driving across town because you're living there. So you can self-manage. A lot of those tasks you would have to hire out if you weren't there or weren't able to take care of. So you're able to save yourself quite a bit of money just by living there. Which later on we'll talk about could also be a downfall, depending on your time and available time to actually go and do these tasks. Another benefit of that is going to be you're gaining experience for managing. And with that, if you're looking to move on, maybe a couple fourplexes, maybe a couple bigger buildings, maybe you want maybe you want like 30 units, 100 units. As you grow bigger, you're building that knowledge base, you're building that foundation, and the education that you're getting from that first building is building that experience for you, which is amazing. And if you do start getting into bigger buildings, try to go get financing for that from different banks and stuff like that. They're going to want to know and they're going to want to see that you have experience managing. And if you have experience managing a multifamily property, then you're actually going to be able to go out there and get, you're going to qualify for a loan easier. Banks are going to want to lend to you because you have the experience and knowledge available at your disposal. You're not going outside and hiring all these property managers, although you can and you should once you get to a certain amount of units. So those are some of the benefits. There's a lot more, but for the sake of shortening today's video, we're going to just highlight those couple. Let's talk about some cons. So self-manage. We talked about that as a benefit. It could also be a con. Now here's why. If you're living on site, you're taking care of everything, that's awesome, but how valuable is your time? Are you a type of person who is just really busy? You got a ton of things going, whether that be family, business, professional life. You're just really social and you're trying to get out there and spend a bunch of time with other people. If that's the case, maybe this isn't what's for you. If like the self-managing, maybe you need to hire some of those tasks out. And what are some of those tasks? You have, everything from, maintenance. Are you going to do the own maintenance yourself? Snow shoveling here in Alaska in the winter. Snow removal if you don't have enough storage in your yard to actually store the snow for the winter. You're going to have someone come in with a truck and remove that out of there, right? If you ever have to evict somebody, if you ever have to go to court, if you ever have to do not just the maintenance, but also when somebody moves out, you're going to go in there and you're going to freshen that unit up. You're going to, if it needs paint, you're going to do that and all that kind of stuff, right? Normal wear and tear on the building. Also, you have some capital expenditures, the roofs and all that kind of stuff, things that you need to do to maintain the building. So with all that being said, all those different types of expenses, there's many of them. We didn't even cover a portion of them. So keep that in mind. With all those self-managing, are you going to be able to commit your time to that? Or is that going to pull too much time from your day-to-day and you have to hire those out? That's the struggle. You have the time and you have the money. It's going to cost both somewhere. So which one are you going to give up, you personally, or are you going to try to take over all of it? Those are things that you need to figure out and talk about. vacancy really hurts a small amount of doors. So this kind of goes back into the money aspect of that. But some of the cons is if it's hard to fill a vacant unit in your area, if the vacancy rate is high, or if your product is subpar to others, your fourplex isn't as good a shape as others, it's not as up to date and things like that, it's going to be harder to rent that out for the dollar amount that you need to. So you always need to stay consistent with what the market is doing. You can have a dollar amount in your mind that you want to rent your place out for, but if the market tells you that that is incorrect and that it's actually lower than that, you're never going to rent that unit out. Or you're going to get somebody in that unit who's willing to pay that higher price, but is not the type of person that you want renting from you. So keep that in mind. With a smaller amount of doors, a duplex, a triplex, a fourplex, missing one unit vacant for even just 1 month really hurts you and your cash flow or the reserves. So keep that in mind as you look at these multifamily investments. Always make sure that you have some type of reserves built up for situations like that. Which leads us into that next point, the reserves, is making sure that, with the opportunity of less doors and less people coming in and high vacancies, you want to make sure that you have the funds, the capital necessary. So when you go into an investment, I see it all the time where people are like, okay, we have enough for our down payment. We have enough for, we'll cover mortgage maybe 1, maybe 2 months. We're ready to invest and jump in. And then, bam, they hit with a vacancy or an eviction or something like that, and it wipes them out. And they're going to friends and family and trying to come up with money, taking extra loans and things like that. Make sure that you don't put yourself in that boat. Don't over leverage yourselves. Go in with enough funds to cover the down payment, closing costs, all that kind of stuff. Make sure that you have extra funds so that you can actually cover the mortgage if there isn't anybody in your building. Just think worst case scenario and plan for that and hope for the best, right? Make sure that you are taken care of. You're not walking in the door in a situation that you can't handle. So make sure you have enough funds and reserves built up. Also, negative cash flow. So a lot of people buying a fourplex believe in the fourplex myth, right? And that is, hey, I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna live in one unit for free. 1 is gonna be positive cash flow, and then 2 are going to be, enough to cover the mortgage of the building, right? That's a perfect world. That would be amazing if it happened every day, but it doesn't. Don't believe that lie. Look at the numbers. So don't get sold on an idea, get sold on the building itself and the numbers. Always look at about 3 years of back. You want to see 3 years of records on the building itself. What's been happening in that building? What has the rent been doing? What's the vacancy rate and all that kind of stuff, right? So make sure that when you self-manage, you're at least accounting for some of that time. And what I mean by that is when you go in and you self-manage, you're going to save yourself a lot of money, but you're also going to cost yourself a lot of time. A lot of people will go in, they'll move in for a year, they'll fulfill their needs for the loan type with the FHA or the VA and stuff like that, and then they're done. They're just done. They're like, we're going to move out, we're finally free, we can get out of here, we'll either get a new place or we'll get, a single family, maybe that's it for us, or maybe they'll downplay to like a duplex. Like they'll be easier to maintain. We still have this fourplex, and we have 4 units finally rented and all producing rental income, right? That's awesome. So they feel like they can go get a property manager because they don't know how much they've spent to self-manage. They're not keeping track of the tasks that they do and the things that they do and the constant weekends and nights that they're going to, take care of the place. So they think, oh, I'll go get a property manager to take care of this. We got the funds. Well, a lot of the times, they're not keeping track of all that, like I said. So when you start keeping track of things like how much is snow plowing going to cost, how much is the snow removal going to cost, how much is the maintenance going to cost, how much is the after hours maintenance calls going to cost, how much is the unit turn going to cost, how much is eviction cost, like all this kind of stuff piled up, right? And they think that the management company is going to take care of it for free. They're not. They have to get paid. That's how they make a living. They need to be able to be a profitable company, right? But they also need to be able to produce a solid product and service. So if you go and call them, they come in and they do their work, you need to be able to budget for that and know what it is. A lot of people can't because they have negative cash flow. Now let's break that down a little bit further before I get into our next topic here. So negative cash flow. I see a lot of people just look at their spreadsheets, at their cost sheets, and say, well, we're covering mortgage with our income, our rental income, so we're positive. We're good because we have a little bit left on top, right? They're like, it's awesome, it's good. And that's as far as they go. They don't take into account the time. They don't take into account all costs, everything that costs them money. The insurance, they're just considering the mortgage. So make sure that you're building these spreadsheets out. And I got some built up with expenses. I'd love to go over them. So please do contact me if you need these. Matthew@precisionhomegroup.com. So those are just some of the pros and some of the cons of having a multifamily investment with the 1 to 4 units. So that's a single family home up to a 4-plex. So single family, duplex, triplex, and 4-plex. And we spend a lot of time talking about the 4-plex, but this really applies to any of those, right? So the less stores you have, the less income you have coming in, typically. Now there are some duplexes, some triplexes out there, some single family homes that just, they demand a much, much higher price. Maybe it's the neighborhood they're in. Maybe it's the condition of the home. Maybe it's the size of the unit itself. There's a lot of things that play into it. So it's not a solid statement for all. But typically, you're going to look at bringing in more with a bigger building. And lastly, some of the other things. We talked about the negative cash flow in general. The other things that you're looking at is the appreciation in equity, paying down the mortgage with other people's money, and appreciating over time as your building gains in value. So that is the game that you are trying to play here, and cash flow is just a benefit and a positive effect sometimes in investing in these units, the 1 to 4. So thanks for sticking with me. I really appreciate it. I would love to hear your thoughts. I would love some feedback. And if you have any questions, make sure to send them to me. Matthew@precisionhomegroup.com. 907-302-1011 is my phone. You can call or text anytime, or just leave a comment. Hit the share button, hit the like. We would love some feedback. If you disagree or have things that you want to bring up, leave them in the comments as well. Before I let you guys get going, I did mention that book. So Cassandra Taggart, here in Anchorage with Real Property Management, she has written her first book. It's amazing work. I love it. It's full of great content. Pain or Profit: Secrets of Profitable Rental Property Investors. These are the secrets. This is the knowledge that you are seeking, that you need. I want to get this to you. I want to get this book in your hands. But in order for me to do that, I need you to do 3 things. First thing is, I need you to hit that like button. Like the love face, the angry face. You just hit one of those. Let me know what your thoughts are. 2, I want you to share this. I want you to share this on your page, and I want you to go ahead and tag a friend. So tag a friend, put them in there so that we can get this video, this content, this information to those people who are interested in real estate investing, and who either are investing now or want to be, or haven't even thought about it, but you think it would be a good information for them to have. Help me get this out. Then, after you're done with those 3 things, I want you to send me a message with your address, and I will personally write you a note, send you a book, and mail it right to you. I'm looking forward to hearing from all of you. Thank you for joining us. For now, you guys be great. I'll be back tomorrow with Matthew Lindsay, my wife and business partner, as we talk about business and marriage and how we make it work in both of those every day. You guys have a great day.